You found the Olsons. Gone again. Today, we are in the shop because we got a little bit of maintenance to do on something new to the channel. So, this is going to be a first service, otherwise known as the oil change, break-in oil change, on a new piece of equipment that we bought. Now, it's kind of sort of behind us there. So we've been pretty happy with the CF Motos that we've had over the years. We have the Blue 500. We have the black and gray Touring 600 CF Moto ZForce. And we've been very happy with them. We've had them out in South Dakota. We've had them up north. A lot of riding in Black River. But we decided that we wanted to get something that instead of riding front and back, we could ride side by side. And since we're getting ready to decide what kind of toy hauler to get, we kind of sort of needed what side by side we wanted to get, what we wanted to buy. So we did some searching, we did some looking, we did some investigating. We looked at a bunch of different YouTube channels, including the guys down at MSC, Team MSC. I looked at a lot of used machines and decided that with a little help from our friends, one of our previous camping excursions, and the new financing interest rates and whatnot, we decided to go new. So we bought a 0 mile, not even put together model, and we were looking at different sizes. So we decided to go with the 950 Trail, ZForce 950 Trail, the black on black. We went to Rod's Ride-Ons in La Crosse, and it wasn't even put together yet. We seen it in the crate, so we ended up making the purchase. Now we have 200. Well, we were going to change the oil at 250 miles. That happened to be out on the trail, so we're right around 325 miles. That's when we're going to do the oil change. We're going to take it out, drive a little bit around the local roads just to get her warmed up, and get the oil change. But first, we'll do a little bit of a walkthrough. The things that we put on it. So I seen a couple guys, and now I'm seeing it more and more now out on the trails, where the guys are using the Milwaukee pack outs to fasten down their cooler and storage equipment and whatnot. So I ended up putting these in. They look like they're backwards, but I wanted them set up this way for a specific reason. With the cooler, when you open up the cooler, it flops back. If it flopped forward, it would go right into the windshield. So I decided to put them both the same, even though they look backwards. Just put the mounting rack in, bolted it. I did put some under support because that bed on here is pretty much all plastic. So underneath the bolts, I put a piece of metal across, and we put a couple 100 miles on with them on there. They seem to hold up just fine. I used two different mounts because I wasn't sure which would work the best. I did end up cutting off a little bit of the tab so that this compartment stays accessible. And yeah, that's about it. We're using this one for all of our junk storage, the Rain-X and the toe straps and paper towels. And then we decided that along with that, we needed to have, we wanted a back window. We want to make sure that all that, tried to keep some of the dust out. So went to CF Moto and found the rear window that works for both the 950 Trail and the 950 Sport. It's got these Velcro straps, kind of fits through a square in the window. These things, this back window system is extremely easy to put on, take off. It's a great product. I've had other CF Moto products in the past. This, perfect. Along with that, we ordered the split window windshield because we wanted to be able to open it up for venting, close it up to keep some of the mud out. Now this one here, and I apologize for not videoing any of the install because there are install videos out there. I didn't think I needed to go over it, but we did discover something really fast. The first time we went on the trail with it, on how this shock mount system works. So it's a nice, strong mount. The only problem that I came up with is the fasteners that they use. I couldn't get this thing tight enough to clamp onto this roll bar, which it's a great roll bar, and I love the way they designed it. And what we're looking at is, it's not a round bar. It's grooved so that you can put an upper door system on. You can put the windshield system on. They fit into these slots. The problem that I have is this, and they give you this little sticker thing that you stick to this clamp, but you can't make it tight enough on here to keep this from sliding. So we were out on some rail bed, which was not super rough, was not big rocks or anything crazy. And this slid and pushed this sticker. That's why it's all messed up. And those shocks, as strong as they are, pushed this whole mount up. So we came back to the shop and said, well, the problem is there's not enough friction in here with that little rubber sticker thing. So we took round bale belting. And I always have that here in the shop because we use that for a lot of different things for protection and whatnot. So I cut a piece of that, kind of formed it to fit inside that groove or inside that clamp. And then the bolts that they used here, now these are, I think they're a 6mm by 1, maybe like a 1 pitch or something like that. I took the originals into the hardware store, and they had like a, I think it might have been a Torx, could have been a Hex, but the metal seemed to me to be very, very soft on that bolt. And I could not torque them down enough to keep that from sliding. And this, when it's down, is putting a lot of pressure in. But when it's all the way down, it's putting the pressure to slide this up. Was not impressed with that. With that being said, I think it's a great windshield. We went through a bunch of rain the first time out, and it is not meant to be dry. This is not like driving a enclosed vehicle down the road, but it took care of 90% or more of the water. We had some that leaked in. I mean, it's not perfect. There's holes in different spots, around in here. But the way this is all kind of designed, it does keep the majority of the water out. It keeps all the mud out. I mean, mud doesn't go through the windshield, so we're very happy with that. Having 300 miles on, it's been a great machine. We love the machine. The only issue that we've seen are these stock wheels. The stock, not even the wheels, the tires are what we believe is the major problem. And it comes from right back here. Now, I don't know. It's, I think it's like an 82 horse. It's 963 cc, I think. But anyways, I believe that there's enough power that on like maybe 3/4 inch gravel that's not packed tight, it feels like you're on the edge of out of control all the time. It feels like the back is about ready to come around. If anybody's driven on ice in the wintertime in the north, that's what it feels like. When you're right on the edge, race car loose. I think it's the tires, and I think it's just the way the lugs are on it. And you know, maybe you guys have an idea. We are starting to even look for tires. We've had this for maybe a month, and we're starting to look for tires because this is not the perfect deal. With that being said, again, if we do, I think I'm going to go to like a 30, 31 or 32 inch tire on that. I think they're 14 or 15 inch rims. If I can get them to stay on the same rim, that would be awesome. Otherwise, I like the system. I like the setup. I like the look. I like the run. Pretty easy to put 100 miles a day on, just putzing. Where my feeling in the past was we really liked the four-wheelers. And I like being out in the open. I like the ability to move back and forth. But we did put 100 or 90 miles on a week or two ago, and it was a pretty good ride. So we'll look on the inside. There's one issue that I just remedied this morning. There's a spot there for cell phones or whatever, or there's a spot there for storage. There's no hole in it. If there's no hole in it, the water's going to fill up in there. Had a lake or a pond maybe sitting in there. So I just took a drill close to the shifter as I could. I just drilled a hole. It's going to let that water out. Not a big deal. Yeah. Then, well, I guess one other thing that we added to this. Let me get a light set up so you can see. So we found out that we needed some kind of sound bar. And there was a lot of discussion online, reviews and whatnot, of different sound bars. And I didn't want some super expensive thing, but I didn't want something that wasn't going to perform either. So we went with the EH-AHD. We went with the EA. We went with the EHAHO, HEO sound bar because it has some front speakers. And I'll have to tell you that the stereo feel inside the cockpit is incredible. This is the 700 watt version. They have a 500 watt version that the reviews said it was too quiet for most side-by-sides. Now, I should have videoed, which again, it's here, it's installed, I didn't. This roll cage system has a straight bar across the front, like above the rearview mirror that we installed. But this back bar is angled, and you can't get a sound bar behind you. So we put a bracket on that and then attach the brackets from the sound bar to the bracket, which ultimately it fit perfectly, and it looks like it belongs. And this sound bar has a remote control, so I was good with mounting it behind us. And we played with it in the shop a little bit, and I think it's going to be great, plenty loud. Should be able to hear going down the trail with no trouble, and we didn't want to put a sound system. We've had sound systems in our helmets that we haven't been super satisfied with. So let's look at one more thing that we put in. All right, so one more item that we added to the to this side-by-side, we were going to put Kimi Moto's tablet holder on the dash, and I thought that it was going to work until we found out that the windshield, when you pull the windshield, when I pull the windshield down, that fits in here. All kinds of confliction. There's no way that would work. So we went back to the drawing board and started looking at some other stuff. And I was in the big truck, and I put these in the big truck. It's a suction mount wireless phone charger holder, and CF Moto has the USB ports up under this section, and when it's plugged in, okay, so this is a MOKPR wireless phone charging mount, and when we click it on, it opens up, and I have one of the larger phones out there, and when I slide that in, why are you not sliding in? Phone mount, wireless charging station, and I'm going to try to do this one-handed, which attempts after attempt is not working so well. It fits. And for this phone, okay. Okay, holy criminy, that was painful. I couldn't get the one arm to go all the way out. Anyways, with this mount, I can have it wirelessly charged. So this mount wirelessly charges the phone. It's very stable. We ran it for a few hundred miles on regular trails, some steep trails, rough terrain, down the road. Everything was great. We tend to use the Polaris on-command ride command system. I guess not ride command for navigation, which works great. This is what the mount looks like without the carriage on it, without the phone holder. And we have both of them attached just with suction cups because they are extremely sticky and great suction. So Judy or whoever's riding has a place to put their phone. I've got the navigation up on my phone, and it's a great system. Yeah, we have 356 miles on here. Wow. So those are kind of some of the things we did, and for the most part, it's been a good machine. I think 350 miles in. Yeah, I think that I wouldn't hesitate buying again. This is the 50-inch wide unit because that's what the trail means. They make a sport unit, which is basically the same inside. It's a 60-inch unit. They flared the doors out so you get a little bit more room. But I don't know. I don't think it's crowded in here at all. And my personal feeling out on the trails, I like seeing a little bit narrower machines. The Black River trails in places are narrow. A few of the trails we were on up by Hayward were narrow. We went on on the trails by O'Neill Creek. That's about 40 miles round trip, and there's some narrow spots there. To me, it's just easier to let everybody by or to get around when they're narrow. So I think with that being said, I think we're gonna take it out, warm it up, and get the oil changed. All right, so we took it out for a drive. We got it all heated up, and now we're gonna change the oil. So from down underneath, now I know the guys down at Team MSC have a great video on it, and they put it up on the lift because, well, that's what they have. But if you're down at home and you're going to do the oil change, down underneath the engine, there's the big hole in the pan, and there's a smaller hole over there. I think that's the one for the transmission. This one has the excuse me. This one has the oil plug, drain plug, and it's a 19 millimeter. And well, let's see how big a mess we can make. It's not gonna sit the way it should. Now I'm going to take my watch off because I know what's going to happen. Now this is going to be very hot. And I was talking to a service guy the other day when we were discussing oils and oil changes, and he's like, one of the keys to a good oil change is make sure the engine is hot. Now, okay, so I'll grab the camera, and there's the mess I made. Oops, sorry about that. I'll grab the camera. This is the mess that I made, but it's draining nicely. So here's the drain plug, and I heard it drop, but they put a copper washer on these drains, so you have to make sure that comes off, which I heard it, so I'm not worried about that. Now on the very top, looks to me like there might be a magnet, or that's at least, oh boy, I think the oil's gone. Now there's just some real fines on there, so I'm pretty happy with that. And I also ordered a kit, so I have these crush washers available, and you have to replace them because they get an indent where this seats, and if it ain't sitting in that same spot, that's a problem. But yeah, there is a little magnet in there, and there was just a little bit, but that's why you want to do a break-in oil change. All right, so I ordered this kit. It's got aluminum and copper washers in it for oil pans, drain pan gaskets, I guess they're calling them. And it's still taped shut. I haven't even opened it yet. Oh boy, they got the ends taped shut. They definitely didn't want them getting out, which they're all randomly in here. But we'll find the right one, because that's obviously not. That's not right. That's the same one. I'm going to use this one here. I wish it was wider. Maybe it... Did that work? No, that is not going to work. Well, I think... Oh, that is not the right one. I think I'm going to go with this one because it seems to fit correctly. I see that there are some oil filter kits out there that come with them. That would probably be easiest, but I wanted to have some for other purposes as well. All right. So when we get that installed, I don't think you need to see me put that up in there. The mess is a mess. We'll get that cleaned up, and then we're going to go to the oil. All right, so I went fishing in the oil, and I found the washer that came off. Now, if you look real close on that face, you can kind of see where the bolt head squeezes into that washer. There's no way that you can get that bolt head to sit in that same spot, and if it doesn't sit in that same spot, that's when you're going to have a leak. That's why you replace these, you don't reuse these. Okay, so now we got to get to that oil filter. And the oil filter is on the filler side. There's the filler right there, and the dipstick. And it is up behind that shield. So we're going to have to get that shield off. These are being very stubborn. Do not want to release. Or we pull the whole center out. Why not? Maybe that's the best way. We got one down yonder. Come on. Ooh, there we go. And one of their little rubber grommets right back there. Now, it's this bugger right there, right up in there. And you know darn well there's going to be oil everywhere from that, so That is an 8mm. Motor's still hot, I'll give it that. Oh, there we go, a little bit of oil out there. Oh, God, darn it. 3 bolts out. And the cover. And the oil filter. All right, so we're on the bench, and we're going to clean this up just a little bit. Now this oil filter kit or oil filter set did not come with an O-ring. I'm just making sure that it's seated down in where it's supposed to be. Cleaned up a little bit, and I made sure that the oil filters are the same diameter and height and mount. That all looks correct. And I bought this as a 2 set that came from Amazon. That's the printing on it. So all right, let's get this baby put back in. Get that top bolt started. That does not feel correct. That feels correct. I give it a little twist as I'm pushing in just to get that O-ring and seat, or O-ring seated, I guess. If that feels correct. I'll use my hands with the socket. Now I don't have a... Where'd that go? At least it didn't go in the oil. I don't have... Oh, Jesus. Let's try that again. There, I had you guys retrieve that socket for me. Okay. So, I was going to say I do not have a quarter drive ratchet. This only takes like 10 inch-pounds to snug this up. It's into aluminum. The aluminum strips out extremely easy. When the aluminum strips out, That's no bueno. No good. Game over. So lightly snugged up, especially with a 3/8 ratchet. All right, oil filter has been replaced. Now, let's go find some oil, because that hole right there needs some oil. So we'll go get some oil. All right, so it takes 2.6 quarts to refill the engine. And I've been asking around, trying to figure out what oil I should put in here. Of course, always go with what the manufacturer recommends. But what I'm going to do is I want to go with a brand that I trust, because I've been using this for years in all of our vehicles for the most part, whenever I can get the size I need. So I went with the Castrol motorcycle type oil. I'm going with a 10W50. And after discussing this with a local shop, a gentleman that's been changing oil for, probably the better part of 50 years, if not more, and looking at oils, wanting to know as much as he can, not so much on the brand. He's a different brand, but that's fine, because I've used that brand as well, and I'm comfortable with it. But I like this brand. I know their full synthetics are really good. But we went with the 10W50 versus a straight 10. We went with the 10W50 versus a straight 50 weight, so that we have that better cold and hot running conditions. The 10 versus a 5W, to my understanding, I've never tested it, but watching Farm Project and some other testing shows and whatever, the 10 is the low temperature reading, because of the fact that we're typically running in the summer. We're not going to go climbing hills in the middle of the winter. The 10 is fine for what we're doing. But the big thing is, what I've seen on the internet, other videos, whatever, is it's recommended either a 40 or a 50. 40 being not quite as high a temperature oil versus the 50. This 50 weight I got off Amazon so that I could get exactly what I wanted. No local supplier had it. I went with the 50. It was a little bit cheaper per case, or per quart, or per ounce, or however you want to look at it. It was cheaper. Plus, it gives us a little bit higher temperature. And if we're running in the summertime, when we could be out and the ambient temperature is close to 100 degrees, okay, so we're in the woods, so maybe we're talking 85, 90 degrees, and we're pushing hard, I think that the 50 would be better. You have the heat to get this to a point where it is super protection for the engine anyways. That's why I went with the Castrol. So we're going to put 2.6 quarts of oil in, and then we'll see what we end up with. Now when we fill this is not a convenient spot to fill. But we can make that work. Spot to set that. Let's see. We'll get that jammed down in there so it'll accept the oil. dipstick. So on here, it's got to be somewhere between there and there. This is a set it in, don't twist it, pull it back out, see where the oil level's at. So first of all, we will take a oh yeah, she's right at the full mark. Let's start this thing up and let's see what the what she looks like after it runs for a moment. Let's see if we can see how much oil we have in here. Oh, I could say I could use just a little more. Yeah, it's about halfway up. So I'm going to dump just a little bit more in there. I think it's in the safe zone, but I'd rather be at the top of the safe zone. Stick it in, bottom it out. Oh, she's right at the top of the safe, or right at the top of the full zone. All right. So that is changing the oil, the initial service. I think in another few hundred miles, I'm probably going to do the differentials and the transmission. They talk about 500 to 600, 700 miles, something like that, to get that all taken care of. I believe that I need to order a special dipstick to check the oil of the front differential, I believe. Could be the rear. I can't remember. Can't remember which one, but we'll cross that bridge later. I did go through and greased all of the grease points, front, back, both sides, with Mobil 1 full synthetic grease. So I think we're 100% ready to hit the trails. So the next videos should be the 950 trail out on the trails. So I appreciate you watching the video. I hope it helps out a little bit, and I hope you go out and buy one for yourself, because it is it's been a lot of fun so far. And thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, I hope you're subscribed. If you haven't, please subscribe. It definitely helps out the channel. Send us a message, ask us a question, tell us we're doing it right or wrong, and we'll catch you on the next one.